Good evening and welcome to our April 27th council meeting. Just to let you know, we do have a full council present. And if you would, join me in standing up for the pledge, and it'll be led by Councilwoman Alma Flores. And then the invocation will be by Councilwoman Dusty Brantner.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. As we gather here today in service to our community, let us take a moment to reflect on the values that unite us: respect, wisdom, and a shared commitment to the well-being of our city. May we approach our discussions with open minds, seek understanding in our differences, and work together with integrity and purpose. May our decisions be guided by fairness and compassion, and may we always strive to serve with humility and dedication. With gratitude for this opportunity to lead and support one another, we begin today's meeting. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, then we'll move on. We'll move on to item number 5. It's the citizens' comments on agenda items. Did we have any?
Mayor, we do not have any comments for agenda items.
Okay. Then number 6, citizens' comments on non-agenda items.
Yes, I have a total of 5 comments here. And we'll call up the first one, which was Mr. Brian Hott. If you'll please approach the podium. And then just state your first and last name, and if you're a resident of the city of Safford. And then you'll have 3 minutes.
Brian Hott, and I'm a citizen of the city of Safford. And thank you for the opportunity to address the council this evening. In October of last year, unions voted unanimously to decrease our solar credits from 100% down to 25%. I'm here today to ask you to reconsider that vote and grandfather these solar customers into the original agreement and reimburse them for the credits they've lost since last November. A few months ago, I started collecting the signatures from the solar customers who were affected by this vote. I met a lot of angry people. Some of the seasoned citizens who have solar are struggling because of this decision. Last week, I was contacted by Mr. Bingham because he thought I had a problem with my solar, and I told him no, that we had started a petition, and I was going around getting all the signatures. He told me I didn't need a petition, I just needed to show up and address all of you. Talking more with him, he tells me I'm only paying a little bit more for electricity. According to him, it's around $18 a month. But a lot of these customers still have payments for their on their solar panels, and they range between $200 to $300 a month. Some of these solar customers have paid anywhere from $20,000 to $80,000 for their panels. So I'd ask you once again, please reconsider this decision. And thank you for your time, and have a blessed evening.
Mayor, next we have, excuse me, Vance Bryce and Taylor Banks.
I'm Vance Bryce. I'm a resident of Safford, and I'm representing the chamber tonight. Taylor is not here, so I'll represent her as well. She's our chamber board president and owns Gila Cheer. I dropped off a little card of notes because there's a lot of things to share this month. At the beginning, there's the numbers on our revenue, and if people in the audience are interested, there's more cards in the back. For Safford Spring Festival is our most successful monetarily and in attendance yet. So we're on the upward swing, which is good. Our next chamber board meeting is May 27th at 1 p.m. You're always welcome to those. Our next mixer is Thursday, May 28th at 5 p.m. at the Chamber. The Chamber is hosting the Moonshot competition in partnership with the EAC Small Business Development Center. EAC SBDC were the hosts last year. We're taking on the host duties, but we're still a partnership. It's not much will change there. We've had 2 resignations from our board. Holly Flanagan from DRG and Jeffrey Kaiser, FNP from Canyonlands. They both were headhunted out of town. And just some other news, Karina Pino Reyes, our former president, also got a job out of town. So it's got me thinking a lot about what the chamber should be working on to keep good people here in the valley so we don't lose some of our best and brightest. Some things to think about for our economy, our local economy, keeping great people because we're losing some good ones. So we'll have an application open for 2 new board members. We need 7 leadership committee members and several membership committee members. So you'll see a press release out from us on all the positions we need filled. We are right in the thick of Gila Valley 250 celebration plans. That's the new official name of the 4th of July celebration. That's Gila Valley wide. Councilmember Flores is serving on that committee, and we're off to the races on that. A bit of my card got cut off. That email address on the bottom is help@grahamchamber.org. On the back of the card, there's several events, including the Main Street Biker Rally this weekend, the Cinco de Mayo Parade and Festival, the Mount Graham Regional Medical Center Casino Night fundraiser, and the Market on Main. It's a busy weekend in the Gila Valley and Safford specifically. Then there's 4 ribbon cuttings there in May. We have the Town Place Suites by Marriott on May 12th, Suds Up Laundromat in Pima on May 14th, American Southwest Credit Union on May 15th, and the Town of Pima Pool Renovation on May 23rd. You can always use the QR code at the bottom for updates on all these events. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mayor, next we have Cindy Woodman.
My name is Cindy Woodman, and I am a Safford resident. I just found out last night about the city contemplating building not only a new city hall, but also a firehouse and, to my knowledge, a recreation center. This is coming at a time when families are tightening their belts and their wallets. But this city, as well as our local college, keeps spending like there's no tomorrow. Initially, I had contemplated making a different analogy to how the spending is being made, but I didn't want to insult anyone by any service that they may have made for our benefit. So it is what it is. It's just saying that there's spending like there's no tomorrow. Where will these funds come from? Where will these funds come from? It's not going to be the nonprofit organizations that have seemed to become prevalent in our community and that are making strides to update our downtown, because guess what? They don't pay any taxes. So that means that it all comes back to Joe Public. And you know, Joe Public prays at night that there will not be any emergency that they have to encumber, be it their air conditioning goes out or their transmission in their car or anything unexpected. But yet the city is going to hit them up for some more, because people can't adapt to what they have available. You know, the cost of these new builds is coming at the public's sweat and blood. And I'm tired of being the sweat and blood. I did that forever. I'm about to turn 65. I have what, 83 more payments of Social Security before I take a hit?
Ms. Woodman, that's your 3 minutes. Thank you.
Just because you can doesn't mean it's right.
Thank you.
Mayor, next we have Mr. John Howard.
My name's John Howard. I don't live in the city of Safford, but I own 2 businesses in the city of Safford. And Mr. Mayor and Council, I'm very grateful for this opportunity to visit with you a second. And just want to congratulate you on the Spring Fest. It was one of the best that I've ever seen. And it was very nice to see several of you out there participating. That's what we're on the council for, is to participate in these events. I think it's so important to see your faces out there. I sometimes think, even in my role, and I do want to say I'm not here as a Graham County supervisor. I need to make that perfectly clear. That it's just sometimes in our roles, we sit on the council or we sit on boards and we're there just to be there that evening. And it's so nice to see you all out there and seeing what I've seen. So appreciate that very much. Also want to make a comment about the buildings that you guys are talking about. That's just a thought. It's not, you haven't voted on to build them buildings yet. That's a pipe dream. That's something that you'd like to see. You haven't allocated that money yet, not yet, and you may not. Who knows? But my other thing is I'll get back to the council. Sometimes we make decisions, and I find myself and other people do this as well. You make decisions on your heart and what you want for yourselves, and sometimes you don't think about your constituents, and you make these decisions with your thought instead of what everybody else wants that's been talking to you about this situation we have here at City of Safford. Over the last few weeks, months, I've seen an environment in the city and the county and the other entities that everybody's starting to unite again and talk again and laugh and looking forward to the future. It's very refreshing. It's very refreshing. It says we have a future ahead of us. And so I would just like to really say that on your decision coming up on your new city manager, I think you really need to listen to the citizens, not what you think is politically correct or the system or this or that. We have a man sitting in a chair right to my right that has brought so much more to this area than we've seen in years and years, and commitment and positivity is just been amazing. So I know you have interviews coming up soon and decisions to make. I would just beg you to make the right decision and not go backwards. We're going forward as we're going. Let's think about it. Let's not start over again and have to reinvent the wheel. The wheel's turning right now. The wheel's turning very, very positive right now. So I just hope you make that decision and do the right decision and vote for Eric Ray Ronald. Thank you.
Mayor, our last comment is from, I'm going to say the first name, Martin. I can't make out the last name. Oh, thank you.
Good evening, members of the City Council. My name is Martin Ekenes. It's Norwegian, so that's why it's hard to pronounce. I'm not a resident of Safford, but I do live in the Gila Valley. My wife and I are volunteers. We manage the Family History Center located at 515 West 11th Street, which has been in operation for decades, literally, and is a part of our community here and is open to the public. Anybody who wants to can come in and get free help with finding their roots. So it's been appreciated by many of our patrons that come in that they can do that without paying a cent. However, we're responsible for all facets of operation. And I didn't know it, but recently we've been inundated with feral cats from a neighbor who likes to feed feral cats. So it's posed an environmental and a potential health hazard, as well as a nuisance. So I'm asking if there is a city ordinance against creating nuisances. Something, if there isn't, I would like to propose for your consideration the formation or adoption of a city ordinance prohibiting the creation of a nuisance. And perhaps, and something has to have some teeth in it, so maybe suggesting that maybe the first offense is a warning, the second one could be a nominal fee. These people are not typically very well off that do this, but they spend a lot of money on cat food. And we have compassion for them, but we can't tolerate the nuisance it's creating. We have to do something. And if the city is interested in maintaining quality neighborhoods and not having others be offended by, actions of others, then I'm proposing that a simple city ordinance be adopted prohibiting the creation of a nuisance, and that some appropriate remedial measure be enacted also in conjunction with that would limit or, discourage such actions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mayor, that's all of the public comments. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank everybody for their comments. They're appreciated. Then now we'll go ahead and close the regular meeting and convene into a work session. Item number 8, the work session, discussion and direction regarding the reinstatement of the consent agenda. B.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we're presenting the subject of the discussion and possible reinstatement of the consent agenda. The purpose of this item is to allow for the Mayor and City Council to discuss and provide direction regarding the potential reinstatement of a consent agenda process for the City Council meetings. This was requested by Councilwoman Flores at the March 23rd, 2026 City Council meeting. Little background on this: a consent agenda is a meeting procedure used to group together routine items that typically do not require separate discussion into one section of the agenda for approval through a single motion, second, and vote. Any council member may request that the item be removed from the consent agenda and for separate discussion and action. Based on our research, the last known use of a consent agenda item by the City Council occurred on May 22nd, 2017. And at the March 23rd, 2026 City Council meeting, Councilwoman Flores requested the use of a consent agenda be brought back to the council for consideration as a future agenda. So the analysis on this is the use of consent agenda is a common procedural tool used by many municipal governing bodies to streamline meetings by consolidating routine items that typically do not require discussion. If this is implemented, the items placed on a consent agenda are generally approved collectively unless a council member requests removal of a specific item. Items removed from the consent agenda are considered separately under the regular order of business during the same meeting. And if the council provides direction to reinstate the use of consent agenda, I would be bringing back at a future meeting the proposed amendment to the city code, section 2.04.140, to reflect the use of the consent agenda within the city's formal procedures, if the council should wish to codify that practice. So there's no formal recommendation since this was a request by the council member. So it's just being presented for discussion amongst you and direction. I did create an example of what the consent agenda would look like. You can see that. So it would be this section here. And it would have these items there, or this is just an example, but we would decide what items be on the consent agenda section, and then that's what it would look like. So it'd be a single motion there. And then I did also create the amendment to our city code that we would add. And it would just be this section here as recommended by our city attorney, Bill Sims. And with that, we stand for any questions, or if you want to open discussion.
I have some questions. So for all of the items that are listed in the consent agenda, would the staff still provide a CCF and all of the material that they currently provide?
Councilwoman Flores, yes, that's correct.
Right. And then I also would just like to ask Interim City Manager Eric, what are your thoughts on having this tool available for us?
Mayor, Council, excuse me, Councilmember Flores, thank you for asking. So I would say from an administrative approach, consent agenda would be incredible. If we can think back several weeks, our events liaison coordinator, Mick Ruiz, presented several special events coming up, and we marched through each of those. Mind you, he did a phenomenal job, but they are time-consuming. The council is provided those items, as you all know, several days in advance, so that's just one example. I've taken time to attend or watch other council meetings as well, just to see what they do. Actually, I'll pause for a minute and welcome the mayor of the town of Thatcher for joining us this evening. But Thatcher is one that utilizes a consent agenda, and when I watched that, it really streamlined a lot of their meeting as well. It's no secret we've had some late meetings as of late, so my opinion would be anything we can do to streamline that. Of course, council members have the opportunity still to pull agendas items out and discuss those one-on-one. But thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Mayor?
That's a strong point, that a council member can pull an item out.
Mayor? I would also like to request on behalf from the council, if we do go with consent agenda, I would like to kind of look at that section of our city code and just to provide a little more guidance as to who I should refer to when we're combining or creating the agenda. Right now, Eric and I will sit down and kind of look at what's coming up, and then on our staff meetings is kind of where we, compile the agenda, but I've been asked a couple of times who really decides what's on the agenda. And I would like some clear guidance, and I would like to include it in the city code where it states who, is it gonna be the mayor with the city manager and the clerk, or how would that process would be? So I would like to make that suggestion also.
I think it's a good idea to have the clerk, the city manager, and the mayor there to set up the agenda. That's my thought.
And I like the idea in general. I for some reason thought we still were doing them when I first started, but I guess not.
Yeah, and that, excuse me, I went back on all the agendas, and that was the last time that I saw one used in 2017.
So if we were doing them, is there a reason we have to add this back in here? Shouldn't we already have that?
It's not in our city code to use consent agenda item, or consent agenda.
And then I had a question on the agenda that you had above. It says that it requires something one to be brought back right there. It says that 3 people have to agree. That's,
In our
I'm just-
current city code?
is that how it is? Because it's only been 2 people that I know of.
Yeah, I had interpreted as it had to be 2 council members. Honestly, I did not see the other 2 other council members have to request that. So that's something else we can clear up as well.
Because when I read that, it was a little.
Yeah, and that's when I noticed it as well. It's like,
I'm
it
like,
does say 2
That's
other.
not what we've been doing.
Yeah, right now it's just been the 2 council members request it, and then we can put it back. But the way it's listed in our code, it's the council member that wants it, and then 2 other council members, so the total of the 3.
That everything you have that's not in red, all that needs to be looked over again, because we have not been doing just about any of that. Because it says, again, like Counselor pointed out, it takes 3 people, not 2, like what we've been doing.
Right.
It also says that when we make up our minds, that for the next meeting, all you can do in that meeting is verify that there are 3 people. And then it goes forward to the next meeting again. Then again, it gives time on when the mayor and the manager are supposed to look the agenda over.
Correct.
And so that whole 2 paragraphs, we have not been following.
Right. And, Mayor and Vice Mayor Lopez, that was my suggestion also. Just let's look at it. It's always good to review, and maybe our practices have changed. Like I said, I would specifically like that guidance also of who's compiling the agenda.
It also says that in a case of a tie, and we bring it back, it can be requested in a certain way. But I don't feel that the member, say there's one member that wasn't, well, you'd have to have, 4 to 4, 3 to 3, that the members that weren't present have no vote the next time. that's something I'd like to have considered. But we need to go over
Absolutely.
those two paragraphs. I like the red and the consent agenda. It'll speed things up, but before I go forward on a vote, I'd like to see about cleaning that up.
Absolutely. And tonight's just a work session, so even if you can't think of any ideas, please send them my way later. I'm willing to look at it and let's update the process and make it fit to what our needs are right now.
What does the Roberts Rules state about who's supposed to do the agenda items?
I don't think there's any section in there. That's just for the actual parliamentary procedures of how to make the motion and that sort of the process inside the meeting, but not who actually creates the agenda.
Do you know what the norm is?
If Bill's on the line, I believe he stated that his advice would be to add that it's the city manager and the mayor, and then they, along with the clerk. Bill, are you on the line?
I don't think so.
Bill, are you there? I think he's on there, but I don't think we can hear him.
Is he there?
Bill, can you hear us? No, I apologize. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's muted on his end. I can get that answer for you later, though, for you.
And I am hoping that the mayor and the manager get together, and because the placement of where things take place is also very important. That would help the consent agenda too, to speed things up on where things take place. Like having an e-session before a meeting that has nothing that the public needs to hear again when we come out, and having that at the first of the meeting kind of hampers the meeting and gives it length too. So when the mayor and the manager meet to arrange the agenda, is it going to happen in enough time for you to make any amendments to the posted agenda?
I think so. Mayor and vice mayor, we start working. I mean, we're already like 3 meetings back or future already. Mr. Sims calling me right now. We're already ahead. Like in our staff meetings, we always are about 3 or 4 meetings ahead, just kind of future projecting what's coming. And then Eric and Mayor meet, I think every Thursday, correct?
Every
And
Thursday.
so, yeah, it would give me time for them to structure how they want the agenda, and then I just follow that guide.
Okay, I kind of wondered that because the agendas normally come out Wednesday evening, so but you said 2 weeks ahead, so hopefully they meet on Thursday after the agenda's out. You don't have to amend the agenda.
Right. Yeah, I think we have enough time to compile as necessary.
Okay, so I'm in agreement with all that's in the red, but the other stuff I'd like to see touched up.
Okay. So if you have ideas, send them my way, and I'll start kind of compiling and make another work session and bring that item. Is everyone okay with that? And then we can kind of work with what sections you do not want, different examples. Does that work? Perfect.
Thank you, B.
Thank you.
We'll go on to item number 2, quarterly community council report. Jeff and Morgan.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. First and foremost, we need to get Mark in the front row one of the best T-shirt awards, because from one water guy to another, all it is water. So I like your T-shirt. Need to find out where you got that. So I'm here to present a quarterly water report or water resource report, and we haven't done this before. This is an idea that I actually came out of the water workshop, the Water Smart workshop with. The intent behind it is to create or build a relationship, partnership between the other users of our water system. Because City of Safford residents aren't the only ones on the water system. We have county and Thatcher as well. So I plan on presenting this to the county and Thatcher. And currently I'm scheduled to meet with the county board on May 4th and Thatcher Council May 18th to present the exact same presentation. The goal behind this would be to provide a very high-level, transparent information about the water system and to build relationships with them. It's not a competition or to point fingers. It's just to provide information to the entire community and the users of it. So to start off, we have the potable sources that we have in our system. This is for drinking water. So we have Bonita Creek. Well 15 is an emergency well that we have in the creek. Clontz Bluff is also an emergency well. The reason why that's an emergency well is because if we turn that on, we're going to be holding back gravity fed from Bonita Creek, which then now we're paying for water to come into the system instead of allowing it to come down. Clontz Well, Carrasco Well, Kempton A, B, and C, Morris 1, 2, and 3, and Alder Well. This presentation should be pretty brief, but I encourage you to provide any type of input of if something that you would like to see on this presentation. I plan on building it to whatever you guys feel is important to know.
Can I ask you a question already?
Yes, sir.
Which one of these wells do you have the I call it the portable filtering system out there in Solomon?
Yep, Carrasco Well is the one that we're currently getting the arsenic removal plant back up. So right now the electricians are in there running conduit to get power to that. And we have the co-op scheduled for some upgrades, system upgrades too. Tentatively, I have July 13th as a startup for that project. However, going into the pumping season, I don't know if it's wise to shut one of our wells down, potable wells, to get that going because it'd be several weeks. So I may reschedule that for an August, September when we don't need that well. Thank you. As far as our reclaim sources, we have the wastewater treatment plant, Fry Mesa, which is a seasonal source, and then Smith Well. Smith Well used to be a potable source. The total dissolved solids are high in it, and the fluorides were also a little high, so we hadn't used that since I've ever been here. So what we decided to do was pipe that into our pond that we put our reclaim into, and we use that as supplemental in the summer. Whenever the users of the reclaim are using more than we can produce out of the plant, we'll turn that on and fill that pond up. So our first chart is the production, and this is, keep in mind, millions of gallons, and it's all 3 months, so it's an entire quarter. So what I wanted to do was to show you how much Bonita Creek pulls in compared to our potable wells. So we had 236 gallons produced out of Bonita Creek and only 21.5 million gallons from our wells. And the wells that contributed was Kempton and Morris. The next chart is a consumer type by percentage. So what I wanted to do was show you community water system wide. This is going to be looking at commercial versus residential, and who's using the majority of it at that time or in that quarter. So we had 56% as a commercial user and 44% as residential. As we get into the summer, you're going to see that number shift into the residential that's going to be using higher is what I'm anticipating. But you'll be able to see that as we continue to present this throughout the year. The next one is the gallons per capita per day. So what we're trying to show here is the average gallons per person per day in the system, what they use. And what I did is I broke it out into service areas. So we have Safford city limits, Thatcher town limits, and the county. As you can see, we all did great during the winter. We were able to shut off all our wells, and Bonita Creek was overflowing to TMT, and I hadn't seen that for a few years. So we did great this past winter, so it was awesome to see that. You can see that.
TMT, the one
10
up
million
on the
gallon
hill.
tank, yep, on Discovery Park. That's our highest or largest water tank, and it serves the majority of our water system, which is Zone A. So as you can see, going from top to bottom from Safford, Thatcher County, we had 64 gallons per person per day, 86, and 73. Based on some data that I received, there's 146 is the average per person per day based on the Arizona Department of Water Resources. To me, that's a little high living in the desert. But then at the USGS, it was 83 to 100 gallons per person per day, which that's kind of where I would love to see us. I just reported to the ADWR today, and on average, it was 160 gallons per person per day system-wide for last year. This next one is development. So what I wanted to show was how many meters did we install in the entire system and where were they installed? And this is where it's not a competition for me. It's just showing, where's the development going and where are the meters. So we installed 28 meters in the first quarter, 10 in Safford, 9 in Thatcher, and 9 in the county. The last one I have for you is showing you our reclaim production and what we have to use to offset our potable water demand. So we have the treatment plant as the purple, Smithwell as the blue, and Fry Mesa. So we actually brought in quite a bit of water from Fry Mesa, which last year, I think we already brought in more than we did in the first quarter than we did the entire year of last year. I don't know that to be exact, but we didn't bring in much last year, Fry Mesa. So I hope that we're able to bring in more. Fry Mesa is just a source for the golf course. It just goes down to the ponds up above that, and then they manage the water and where they take it.
Morgan, in the future, is there any possibility of us using Fry Mesa as potable water? Like some kind of, would
I'm
we
not
have
going
to
to
put
say
in a
never.
system?
Yeah, but so Fry Mesa is considered a surface water source.
Mhm.
And at some point, if you want to use surface water, you have to build a treatment plant. You have to have UV. You have to remove all of the contaminants and the cryptosporidium, which is essentially a disease-causing organism. So your requirements change significantly from groundwater to surface water, which Fry Mesa is considered that. And that's one of the reasons why we only take it to the golf course now, because we can still use it, and it cuts down the cost. We don't have to spend as much to treat it. Thank you.
Hey, Morgan, do you think the increase in the Fry Mesa water is because we've gone out more often to clear out the debris? Because I know the debris builds up and then there's no way for the water to come down. So have we been going more often to try and clear that up? And is that a result, or do you just?
That's an excellent
No.
question, and I don't know the answer because the golf course, they go up there and they manage that,
Okay.
the screen and clearing that off. My opinion, it just seems like maybe there was an event up there that filled that reservoir up and the availability of that water coming down. And, I'll give it to them. They probably go up there and check that, but I don't know how frequent they do that.
Okay, thank you.
The fires didn't do us any favors. All the fires up there didn't help any.
Morgan, just a question. I know the answer, but just to clarify for those in the audience and those listening, what do we do with that water that comes down to the golf course? Where does it go? Just goes onto the grass.
Thank you.
Essentially.
I just wanted people
Yeah.
to make sure that they weren't getting that in the restaurant or anything like that. So thank you for clarifying that.
No, I've had that question. They think that we use reclaimed water for the restaurant, and no, that's just strictly for the irrigation. And so,
And that water is, that reclaimed water's isn't gonna hurt you per se, because I've seen plenty of golfers that are in here reach in them waters and get their balls out of there. So I know it's all pretty good.
I've been in deeper than a hand, and I haven't grown an eye yet. So,
Okay.
so that's the end of my presentation. If there is any type of input you would like to provide, or anything that you would like to see added to it or changed, please feel free to reach out to us, or if you have the information right now, I can jot it down. But again, this is more of just a high level. I want to try to build a relationship with the other users. It's not intended to come across as pointing fingers or a competition. It's just trying to be transparent, be more of a partner of the water system, and share that information. I don't think it's happened in the past. We've only shared it with council on a monthly basis, but not a high level.
I think that's a very good idea. Good for you.
Thanks, Morgan.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Then we'll go ahead and item number 9, close the work session and reconvene into our regular meeting. Item number 10, the minutes of, everybody have a chance to review the minutes of April 6th, 13th, and 20th?
Mayor, I move that we approve the minutes for April 6th, April 13th, and April 20th, 2026.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion.
Hang on a second. On the 20th, it shows that
Kemp Hill and I were both there and absent. That should be.
Okay.
corrected.
Thank you for catching that. I'll go back and check that and change it, please. Thank you.
Other than that, I'm okay with it.
Okay, we had a motion and a second to approve the council minutes of the 6th, 13th, and the 20th of 2026. All in favor? Opposed? And we'll move on to item number 2, intergovernmental, the IGA between the City of Safford and the Mount Graham Regional Medical Center.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This request is for Mayor and City Council to review and authorize the Fire Chief to execute the following IGA with Mount Graham Regional Medical Center. Strategic goals is quality of life, public safety, and intergovernmental cooperation. Background, we currently have an agreement with Mount Graham Regional Medical Center for our base hospital privileges. The agreement is expiring, and this is just an updated agreement with it. This will allow EMS-trained personnel to treat patients in emergency situation when needed and allow EMS training with the hospital. Staff recommendation, the mayor and city council approve this agreement between the City of Safford and Mount Graham Regional Medical Center for a period of 3 years. I stand for any questions.
Is it actually a year old?
What was that?
Is it actually a year old?
The agreement? Yes. I've been working on this for a year.
And also, I don't know that it matters if it's a legal agreement, but the page numbers are pretty messed up.
Bill worked with, Sims worked with their lawyer, and this is what he turned over to me after the 9 months.
And also the name of our organization didn't get transferred to the right like it should have, but probably irrelevant.
I'll have Bill review it again for any type of grammar corrections like that.
Anybody else?
I like that on the signature of approvals and stuff, they actually typed underneath where they sign who the people are, because some of these people sign their name and you can't tell who they are. So 15 years from now, you're not going to know who signed it. So I'm glad you added that, and it's good to have.
Anybody else? This is an action item.
Mayor, I move that we approve the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Safford and Mount Graham Regional Medical Center.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the IGA between the City of Safford and the Mount Graham Regional Medical Center. All in favor? Opposed? Thank
Mayor
you.
and Council.
Okay, then item 11, we're going to close our regular meeting and convene into an executive session. We'll take about a 10-minute break.
Mayor, I move that we convene in executive session after a 10-minute break.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to do it. All in favor?
We're good to go, Mayor.
Okay, we're gonna close the executive session and reconvene into the regular meeting. Item number 14, report on operational items. Eric, City Manager?
Mayor and Council, thank you. It's still early in the evening, so I don't want to prolong it so we stay here any longer. But I did want to provide some updates. You did hear from the Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce, Vance Price, earlier this evening. As you all know, we celebrated the Spring Fest this past weekend, Friday from 5 to 10, and then Saturday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And the numbers that he reported out are phenomenal. As you know, we host these events to bring people to downtown, historic Main Street, the City Hall lawn. Vance and I had a brief conversation at the conclusion of the event a little after 10, and the initial figures that he gave me were awesome, and then he updated me today with the same information you received. But what I want to share as well is anytime we market an event on City Hall lawn or Main Street, I always try to include reminding visitors to stop by our anchor businesses along Main Street, the shops that are there, the restaurants as well. Today I had a conversation with one of those, which was Retrograde, the barbecue and brewery, who's going to host the event coming up this weekend as well. And what I was told is they received a lot of that overflow traffic as well. So our intent actually reached the market we were trying to do. So all good information. I'm glad that happened. As you know, next weekend is another busy weekend. We have Market on Main. We have the Main Street Rally. We have the Cinco de Mayo Parade. We also have the events happening at the church. So busy weekend. And I just want to thank all the volunteers, the chamber, and especially the City of Safford team that comes out to make all of these events possible, because they come out typically on their days off, after hours, late at night, and they help make this happen. So a special thanks to them. I also wanted to provide two updates out at the golf course. So you might remember towards the end of last year, you did update or reallocate some funds that we had put aside for some improvements out there. One was the wedding, to host weddings in a different manner. Our original intent was to change the north-facing wall of the restaurant and had some roller doors so that way you could take the event outside. The challenge with that, looking at a small business mindset, is when you had that event or that wedding, you would have to still close the restaurant. So the team out there at the golf course, oh, he's still here. Our Assistant General Manager, Aaron, has joined us as well. The team out there at the golf course came up with a different idea. You've all been invited out there. I'd encourage you to go visit it. So just a few weeks ago, the event area known as the last hole, I think is what it's called, just next to the 18th hole, has been completed. Thanks to you and what you allocated, I believe it was $35,000. The city team, electric and water, and several others were able to get out there and complete that venue. We did host our first wedding last weekend. We have 2 weddings coming up in May, I believe. We're looking at probably over 350 people for both of those weddings, which is great because we're able to keep the restaurant open and get the general public in the doors, and then also host events as well. So again, we hit the mark on that. And I do want to play a quick video, if Mo has it queued up, of a gentleman that shot some drone footage for us. So if you can't make the trip, you can see it here for just a couple moments. We did have to cut out the audio, correct, Mo? Just because of copyright laws, so the audio will not play because we are streaming as well. I can do a voiceover, but it won't be very good. To the left, there's the 18th hole, and then this is the event center here, the grass area that, as you stand on, you kind of stare out towards the 18th fairway. I'm learning the terms. Those are the actual restrooms there. So there's 2 stalls in that building that you just saw, hooked up to septic. And then this is the entryway for what would be the gathering space after the ceremony on the grass. This area you'll see was designed for the bride to have a private or separate entrance, which is a wonderful thought. And as it concludes, I'll just add a special thanks to Logan Hawkins, correct? This was his concept back in October of 2024. He started doing the work and clearing the mesquite out there, and his vision for it to turn into that is incredible. We've heard nothing but positive responses. Several folks have toured it. I'm happy to say we haven't even officially announced that it's out there yet, and we have 8 weddings already, well, should I say weddings or events? Weddings? 8 weddings already booked. So the investment that the council approved, we've already recouped a third of that. And I anticipate the money that we invested will be repaid in full soon. So thank you for that. Hopefully you enjoyed that, but nothing beats touring that facility in person. So again, Aaron has invited all of you to go out. Please take advantage of that when you have an opportunity and see the great things happening at the golf course. Thank you,
Pretty.
Mo. You can
Very
cut that
pretty
there.
with all those trees. Wow. Definitely different than I had in mind.
One more thing, if I'm able to share my screen. I don't think it's going to work for me. That's okay. Oh, it's fine. Oh, there it goes. I can explain it. The driving range. So improvements that we talked about last year as well to the driving range. So we had the team come out, cover the tees. They arrived in the city last Sunday, or actually last Saturday. Lance Henry, if he's still here, joined me Sunday morning. He offloaded their trailer, and unfortunately, due to the wind, they couldn't start their work on Sunday, but they started first thing Monday, and they completed the build of the covered bays on just over the weekend on Saturday. So that team's already loaded out and moved on. But if you have an opportunity, you'll see the 20 covered bays out there as well. The city team and I met this morning just to discuss next steps to get that moving. Of course, electricity has to be added as well as the technology from Top Tracer that Troon has spearheaded with us moving forward with. So we're excited about all those improvements. If you haven't heard the excitement out there, this is not only for golfers. You might remember I'm not a golfer. I just went out and spoke with the team and we created a division, and here we are. So it's moving along, and I just wanted to say thank you for that and provide an update. And with that said, I'll stand for any questions.
Anybody?
Did the college just win an award for something too?
They did. Aaron, I might have to defer to you. Western champs? Yes, Western, and good question, Vice Mayor. And Mount Graham Golf Club is their home course.
Yeah, that they get to practice there and eat, and they showed big accomplishments.
Thank you, Mayor and Councilor. You just jogged my memory. So one thing that we're also working on, if you visited the golf course lately, you'll see before you enter the property, there's this old dated sign that talks about the jurisdiction of the city of Safford. And I know we talked about a refresh to the entryway. This is not that, but I reached out to the different school districts, Safford, Thatcher, and Pima, and had our friends at CMI design a sign welcoming you to the golf course, showing that it's the home of our local high school teams. I reached out to Eastern Arizona College as well, who is working on sending me some conceptual artwork for a sign, which will now feature their Western championship. And we'll see, I believe they play for the national championship soon? Yes. All right, they leave this week. So hopefully we can add that to the signage as well. Thank you.
Leave some space.
Yeah, yes. Bless you. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Anybody else? Okay, then we'll move on to item 15, announcement of current events. Covered them all.
I I don't know if it's under current events, but we have a little change when they announce themselves up there. But do we still capture the address of the people? So in case staff gets direction, they can work with the public?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, yes, so we do still have it on the cards, and I don't know if everyone was here when I updated just verbally. We changed the comment cards, well, the process when they give a comment, they just state their first and last name and whether yes or no that they live within city limits. There was a webinar, and it was suggested by the attorney that did the webinar to not have them state their physical address, like, for the record, but as long as we're on the comment card, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm still capturing that.
Okay, then item 16, a request for a future agenda item.
I would just like to see if we could get with staff to work on something about the feral cats. This is the second time it's came forward with someone complaining about the health issue of it, and I know we didn't do anything last time, so I'd like to see if there's something we could work with, something to help these people with these cats.
Mayor and council, it's in my notes. Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
look into it.
Perfect.
There was also concerns about summertime coming and dogs tied up in the backyard not being taken care of properly. And so want to put extra notice on that for our dogs.
Then I'd like to add one. I'd like to, whenever we can, make it an agenda item to discuss the solar one more time. Solar panels. Anybody else? If not, we'll move on to item 17.
Mayor, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? Opposed?